Good morning. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to give you the title and read the blurb and start talking. No preliminary stuff today. Shadow governments and the secessionist movement. Mainstream media has repeatedly painted RuSA as a shadow government. At first, I thought they were incorrect. Yet in a real sense, they were telling it as it is. You see, a shadow government is one that puts on a mask to hide its real agenda. The leadership of RuSA did that, deceiving many honest people. However, the de facto government is a conglomerate of privately owned, for-profit corporations with unelected leaders that, like RuSA, operate with a hidden agenda. People that see this want out. Whereas RuSA's agenda was religious in nature, to impose a narrow set of beliefs upon a dreamed-of nation, the agenda of the corporate USA, run by zealots that do not care about the founding documents of this nation that limit government and empower the people. The owners of the corporation want to rule the world by force, preserving only the right to obey, to follow orders that comply with the wishes of the slave master controllers. It is this shadow government that thinking, feeling, and aware human beings wish to secede from, so that the rule of law can apply to everyone equally, bringing true justice and real peace to our planet. I realize that blurb and title open a can of worms. Because there are people in both RuSA and the corporate USA, and for that matter, pretty much every other nation on the planet, that don't want this stuff to come out. I do believe that RuSA's leadership hid behind the mask of wanting to restore the Republic of the United States, or the Republic for the United States of America, and they hid behind the mask of wanting to honor the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence and the founding documents of this country. That was the mask they hid behind. But the real agenda was to impose Christian morality upon the world, ending abortion, making it a total crime, with no choice at all, ever, at any point from the moment of conception. Not even, as I would say, give the woman a chance to see if she wants to carry the child that was birthed with, or that was conceived within her body. I believe a woman deserves that right and that choice to say, I want to bring this baby into the world, or I don't want to bring this baby into the world, and make an intelligent, informed decision in the first trimester of pregnancy. Beyond that, I would opt for the women or the people that say abortion should be outlawed. Well, in some cases, even after the first trimester, when the woman's life is in danger, she has a right to choose her life over the unborn child within her. If her life is genuinely threatened, as was the case with the woman in Ireland recently, who tried to get an abortion, her life was in danger, they said no, they didn't give her an abortion, she died, the baby died, both of them died. What was served by that? And of course, the other issue for the Christians has been the homosexual issue. They don't want men marrying other men or women marrying other women and having equal rights in loving partnerships. Well, there was a time in my life that I would have agreed with that viewpoint that marriage is between a man and a woman. I no longer hold that position. I believe everyone has a right to love and be loved by whomever, with whomever they choose. And if it's a person of the same agenda, fine. I would only make the exception of an adult does not have the right to marry a child under 10 years old or under one that's not sexually mature. Anyway, that's really not what I wanted to talk about today, but I went there. What gave RuSA a lot of success is that there are a lot of educated people in the United States and around the world that understand how the government system and the monetary system on Earth operate. And it's total fraud. The United States goes around the world acting as the policeman for the New World Order, trying to impose the corporate agenda on the rest of the world. It's all about profit. It's all about money and control. It is not a real government, and the governments that it bolsters are not real governments. They are de facto, in name only, operating not with the consent of the people, but with the consent of the owners of the corporations. And all of the nations, all of the modern nations in the world, including ones that appear to be on opposite sides, are part of that. I would say that even the Islamic Republic of Iran is actually, if you understood it, is probably a corporation just like the others, but they're not all dancing to the same tune. They're not all on the same script. Okay? Some of them want a little bit of variation in the script, which the people that are really ruling don't want to have. They don't want to allow any diversity whatsoever. They want it their way, and that's it. Well, there's an awful lot of very strong egos in the elite establishment that want it their way. And that is the downfall because they are divided. But their game plan is to divide all of the people into opposing camps so that we cannot have a government and have leadership that actually serves the people and protects the rights of the people and protects the principle of rule by law where there is equal justice for everyone. Again, corporations operate with limited or no liability whatsoever, so that the leaders are never accountable, never responsible for what they do. This is immoral, it's unethical, it's unjust, it's absolutely the foundation of crimes against humanity. This structure, the corporate structure, is how our money system works, how all of our commerce works on this planet, and how our governments have been handled. They have been bought and paid for by the people with the most toys, the people with the most money. And money in that sense is a total fiction because it's all been created by debt. It's all been created by the illusion that has been sold to the people that run governments and run corporations and run institutions, that in order to get what you want, you have to borrow money. No, we can create money. They do it all the time. They create money out of thin air. Why can't honest people create means of exchange out of thin air the same as the others do? Well, the truth of the matter is, under the Constitution of the Republic for the United States of America, and I'm not talking about RuSA now, I'm talking about the organic republic that was birthed in 1776 and throughout the rest of that century and into the 19th century, that was birthed to give man a foundation, people a foundation of freedom with limited government that protects the rights of the people to have freedom of conscience and freedom of speech and freedom of expression in every ways, and freedom, yes, to choose who you love and how you love. These are innate, unalienable freedoms that we all have. but that some people in the world don't want us to have, including people that get on the boat of trying to establish the republic as RuSA did. As I've said before, I don't believe that Tim Turner and others in that movement are evil people. They are scared people that see the rise of Islamic fundamentalism in the world, and they want to counter that by creating a government that protects them and gives the Christians right to be Christians. But they don't realize that if they don't also give the Muslims right to be Muslims, there will be no freedom, there will be no peace. Do you understand that in order to have peace on earth, in order for there to be justice, it has to apply equally to everyone, no exceptions. It has to be inclusive. It has to be based on unity and compassion and wisdom and understanding. It has to be based on truth, not on some fictional mask that we put on that deceives people so that they think that we're doing one thing, but we're really doing something else. That's what RuSA did, but they copied the pattern from the de facto governments, from the color of law institutions. This is what they did. They copied the same thing they were trying to fix. And they were trying to create a solution to a problem that they saw, a real problem that we all have as human beings, by employing the same means, deception. And deception won't work. We must be willing individually and in our institutions to tell the truth. And every person in our institutions must be a servant, or they cannot be a leader. Leaders are servants. Leaders are people that uphold the rights of everyone without exception. There is no exceptionalism in truth. In a unity-conscious world, everything is interconnected to everything else, and everybody is part of the whole. Everyone is in our family. And what is our family? It's the human family. Now, the human family is going through tremendous stresses right now. We're experiencing it in our individual lives and in our collective world, in our collective societies and cultures. We're experiencing the stresses. And the stresses have to do with the fact that the truth is becoming known. And we're not willing to allow the shadow governments, or put it another way, our shadow ego that has been our unconscious self, running the show in ignorance. It's ignorant and unsustainable to think that you can be separate from the whole when science and mysticism together say that no, it's all one. You can't move this part without affecting the other parts adjacent to it, even if the other parts are on the other side of the world, or shall I say the other side of the cosmos. It's all interconnected. Separation is the lie. And it's based on lack. It's based on the need, the perceived need, which is a false need, to control the environment. If we just simply allowed the environment to do what it naturally does, and we weren't in opposition to it all the time, and we weren't operating under the illusion, false evidence appearing real, if we weren't operating under that mindset, we would find ourselves amply provided for. Everything that we need would come to us automatically. But we don't believe that, do we? We've been trained not to believe that. Yet it's the truth. Yet it's the truth. There is a natural homeostasis to living things, and everything is alive. And it's all energy. It's all spirit, if you will. And that's why I say it's a spiritual awakening that comes to us from our modern mystics known as physicists. That it's all one. When are you going to get it? If you're still holding on to other beliefs, when are you going to understand that if you hurt someone, if you take someone else's rights away, your own rights, your own safety is threatened? And I don't care if you're a cop or if you're a soldier or whatever. You cannot abuse the rights of others without yourself being threatened, which is why the leaders realize that as the people wake up, their game plan is threatened because they needed the ignorance of the people in order to carry it out. And the ignorance of the people is going by the wayside. We are waking up. This is the mass awakening, which is a threat to every shadow government, no matter how it wishes to operate. There is accountability. There is liability for things that we do. We have a responsibility to be compassionate to each other, to recognize, namaste, that we are one with the other, that the things that are in me are also in you, good and bad, the things that we have labeled good and bad. They're in both of us. When we realize that and admit it and honor the divine spark that's in you, that's also in me, when we do that with each other, we have the capability of creating peace on earth, of creating a system that works for everyone without shadow governments. What we want to secede from, in truth, is not government, and it's not money, and it's not society, but we want to secede from that which is unjust, that which is immoral, that which is unethical, that which is not true. That's what we want to secede from. That's what we want to get out of, those of us that are waking up, those of us that think for ourselves and feel with our hearts and have the heart and the mind connected and the body too. It's not about judging each other. It's about freedom. Freedom to be unique and individual and at the same time connected to all that is. And recognizing that we're all here to serve one another, to love one another, to respect one another, to honor one another, to be real, genuine, authentic human beings, capable of creating a society that literally works for everyone. Yes, I want nothing to do with the corporate United States of America. And I want nothing to do with RuSA as long as they are operating with a hidden agenda to impose and legislate their idea of morality on everyone else. I'm opposed to those things because they are unsustainable. They won't work. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Whew.